In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the all-wise, and the true and living God, the great knower of the seen and the unseen, the most powerful, the great God who was to come and has come in the person of Master Tariq Muhammad, the God that the Bibles all predicted at the end of the world, on the judgment day, God himself would come, and his first work would be to raise the dead. And everyone's been looking forward to that great resurrection of the dead, although they didn't understand it. But that great God who was to come to raise the dead on the judgment day out of their graves, he has arrived. He came in disguise, July the 4th, 1930, first appearing in Detroit, Michigan. He pulled off his holy robes and his crown of authority and donned dyed garments, put on Western-style clothes so he wouldn't be recognized at first, because he has some great work to do, sort of undercover. And if they knew who he was before he completed his work, he'd have to bring the judgment on right away, and many of God's people would lose their life because they had no knowledge of God. So he came in disguise. His main mission was to raise a divine messenger in our midst from among the blind, deaf, and dumb so-called Negroes. This one is referred to as the first begotten of the dead. The one of whom I speak is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is the man that is predicted in all Bibles that he would come, in the Holy Quran also. At the end of the world, there would be a man would show up with the name Elijah Muhammad. In the Holy Quran, it says at the end of the world, a man would show up by the name of Muhammad. The Christian Bible says at the end of the world, a man would show up by the name of Elijah. So there you have the man the whole world's looking for, Elijah Muhammad. Elijah of the Bible and Muhammad of the Holy Quran, the last and greatest messenger of God to come to the planet Earth before the final judgment, which is going on now. We, the so-called Negroes, should be very happy. We should feel very honored that the last and greatest messenger of God, that he would send him to us first, the poor, blind, deaf, and dumb so-called Negroes. We can understand why he came to us first, because we were the most in need of a divine teaching, a divine guidance. We, the so-called Negroes, didn't even know where we came from or where we were going. We had no land. We had nobody on earth that was concerned with us. We were at the hands of a slave master, the white man, who had robbed us of everything that is good. So we can never thank Allah enough for coming to the hills of North America and suffering his own self. That's right, by being in disguise, no one recognizing who he was, he had to suffer. Lots of humiliation. People saying things to him right to his face that was disrespectful, disgraceful, cursed to his face. I know they did God that way because they did his messenger that way, and they do me that way. I had them come and call me every kind of a name that you can think of. Of course, the one that did that, sometime I look around for them, I got to remind myself they're not even here now. Allah took them away. One of the things that Master Tariq Muhammad suffered, even one of the disbelievers become displeased and hit him in the mouth and knocked one of his teeth out. Just think about this now. Not knowing that was God himself, wearing the name Master Tariq Muhammad. They was getting ready to jump on the brother and kill him right off the bat. But he said, no, don't bother the brother. He's a good brother. Of course, I don't know what happened to that brother. Only thing I can know good about him now, he's good indeed, I know that. But I say all praise is due to Allah that God has come to deliver the so-called Negroes in America. And I'm happy to welcome the truth seekers here this afternoon, those who are seeking the truth. I want you to know, I want to welcome you to a meeting of the true followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I put emphasis on the true followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because there are many out there who are saying they're following Elijah Muhammad, but they're not really true followers. There are many out there who claim they are representing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, call themselves ministers and teachers out there. But in the final analysis, you find that they're not really representing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or they'd be exalting his name. The name they're really trying to exalt is their own names. There are many of them out there like this. They're not wanting to teach our people for the sake of enlightening our people or helping God's messenger. They're seeking some high position of importance for themselves. There are many out there that they weren't even sent. They just went. And for this reason, I want to tell the true secrets this afternoon. The main concern of yours in these final days in searching for the truth, you must beware of the false prophets. You understand? Those who are pretending like they have been sent and they haven't been sent. We have a little passage of this in the Bible here, in the book of Jeremiah. I want to read this to you. I'm beginning with the 18th verse of the 23rd chapter of Jeremiah. For who has stood in the counsel of the Lord and has perceived and heard his word? Who has marked his word and heard it? Who stood in the counsel of the Lord? For example, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught by God himself in person. He divinely commissioned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He divinely sent the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He divinely named the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He commissioned him as his messenger and told him to go out and make many ministers. For who has stood in the counsel of the Lord and perceived and heard his word? But the problem is there are many out there that have been sent, that went, but they weren't sent. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. A whole lot of this is going on right now out there. God didn't send them, his messenger didn't send them. And he says that right here, I didn't send them, yet they ran. If they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they would have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doing. But they didn't stand in his counsel, just jumped up, and said, I want to go preach, I want to go teach. Not even seeking guidance, don't want no guidance. There are many out there all over the nation of Islam right now, and not even counting the Negro preachers. God didn't send none of them. The white man, the devil ordained the Negro preachers. But in the nation of Islam, you have, everywhere you look, you see different ones jumping up, saying they're ministers, which is nothing wrong with that. That's very good if they want to represent God and his messenger. But they won't seek counsel from those who did stand in the counsel of the Lord. They want to jump up on their own and act like they're real important. As a result, they're causing the people to err and make mistakes. I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreams. You'd be surprised at the ones that get out there and say, I dreamed that the Lord told me to go and preach, or told me to go do thus and thus. I had a divine revelation. I've even had some to come and tell me that, Minister Hamzah, what I want you to know is that I have been commissioned to take Elijah Muhammad's place. And I said, well, you have? I said, what are you coming to me for? If you've been commissioned to take his place, what are you coming to me for? He said, well, what I want you to do, I want you to go out and be one of my ministers representing me. Isn't that something? And he said, I'm hereby ordering you to do this. Isn't that some nerve? I said, if you've been commissioned, I said, you go carry out those words. But you don't have no orders to give to me whatsoever. There's many out there just like that. They become indignant if you try to give them some guidance. They become indignant. but they'll never be successful. Messenger Elijah Muhammad